let's summarize our recommended maintenance for your pool. First of all, you're going to want to use Supreme Plus. You're going to want to use sodium tetraborate. So we're going to need to apply that at a rate of 3 pounds per 1,000 gallons initially. We're going to want to test and maintain our borate level in between 40 and 80 parts per million year round. We need to test that probably about every 6 months. Under normal conditions, your borate level will stay within range for a whole entire year. If you have to drain your pool for any reason, or if we have crazy amounts of rain, or you just do so many cannonballs because you're having such a good time, then sometimes your level of borates can go too low before a year has passed. But typically that's a super rare occurrence. So we just need to test for borates every 6 months. Every week you're going to want to use an enzyme and phosphate remover combination chemical. If you have tons and tons of plant debris in your backyard, we recommend you use CV700 regularly. If you don't have so much plant debris, then we recommend that you use Pool Perfect plus Phosphorus. It's easy to apply an enzyme. It's just a liquid. You pour it straight into the pool at the proper dosage rate. Every 2 to 3 days you need to test your pH, and you need to make sure that it's in between 7.2 and 7.6. This is for the comfort of swimming, to prevent scaling, but also to make sure that your chlorine functions properly. You need to test your free chlorine every 2 to 3 days. If you're not utilizing any alternatives to chlorine and you're only using chlorine shock and chlorine tabs to keep your pool sanitized and oxidized, then in the summertime you need to maintain in between 2 and 3 parts per million free chlorine. If you are utilizing alternatives like an ozonator and a mineral system and Supreme Plus and using enzymes regularly, then you can get away with holding 1 to 1.5 parts per million free chlorine year round. So, test your free chlorine every 2 to 3 days. How many tabs and how much shock that you're going to have to use to maintain your chlorine completely depends upon all the different factors like bather load, the weather, algae blooms, things like that. So I can't tell you exactly how much chlorine you're going to have to use every week. But if you're using things like maintenance doses of algicides and mineral systems and Supreme Plus and an ozonator, I can guarantee you that you're going to use way less chlorine than people who aren't. Whenever you need to shock your pool, do not use sodium dichlor if you're using chlorine tablets. If you have a salt pool, sodium dichlor is acceptable. If you're using chlorine tablets, stay away from sodium dichlor. You're going to want to use a rotation between Power Magic Super Oxidizer, which is the calcium hypochlorite shock, and Shock and Swim, which is the non-chlorine potassium monopersulfate oxidizer. So one time you have a big party, after the party's over, you shock with Power Magic. The next time you need to shock, you use potassium monopersulfate Shock and Swim. Just rotate them. This helps to control the level of calcium in your water and also prevents you from over-chlorinating. You need to test your total alkalinity weekly and adjust it as necessary. Remember, if it's too low, balance to the higher end of the range in order to keep your alkalinity in range longer. You want to test your calcium hardness and your cyanuric acid once a month. Every week you need to brush the entire surface of your pool. This way, any dirt that's been lodged into the pores or any algae spores that may have taken hold into some of your pores get brushed out. That way they can either be killed by chlorine or filtered out in the filter. If you have a DE filter, you need to backwash it at least once a month, or when your pressure gauge reads 10 psi above clean pressure. Clean pressure is the pressure that your gauge reads right after you've backwashed and recharged the filter with DE. Let's say that clean operating pressure is 15. Once the gauge goes up 10 psi to 25, it's time to backwash again. This concludes the recommended maintenance portion of chemistry school. To continue with chemistry school, please see the video on properly using chemicals and properly storing them. Thank you for choosing riverbendpoolsupply.com for all your pool needs.